All right, so today we're talking about right triangles and how we can prove that right triangles are congruent to each other. So we're going to use something called the hypotenuse leg theorem. So in order to use this theorem, it's important to know which side is the hypotenuse, which sides are the legs. So whenever we have a right triangle, that's my right angle. The two sides that are touching, so like this side and this side, two sides that are touching the right angle, those are the legs, so L and L. The side that does not touch the right angle is the hypotenuse. So I know that's a review, but I want to make sure that you all know what the hypotenuse and leg mean. So hypotenuse leg theorem says that if we have two right triangles and we have one leg that is congruent on each triangle, and then the hypotenuse is congruent on each triangle, the two triangles are congruent. That's all we need to prove that two right triangles are congruent. Again, it has to be two right triangles, so I have to have that 90-degree angle. So in example 1, we need to answer the question, are the triangles ABC and DEF congruent? Well, we know that they are, first of all, both right triangles, so that's a good first step. BC and EF are congruent to each other. So is that a leg or a hypotenuse? Well, it's touching the right angle. This one's touching the right angle, so those are legs. So L and L. AC and DF are congruent to each other. This side is not touching the right angle. It's opposite of the right angle, so that's a hypotenuse. Same with this one. So we could say, yes, they are congruent by the HL theorem. Because a leg is congruent and the hypotenuse is congruent, and they are 90-degree angles. So that's all we need to prove that those two are congruent. In example 2, we are given a few things here. So ON is congruent to ML. LP, so LP, is congruent to PN. And then finally, OPN is a right angle. Now we need to prove that triangle OPN is congruent to triangle MPL. Let me set up my little table here. So my statements and my reasons. So number 1, always write what they give you first. So ON is congruent to ML. LP is congruent to PN. And then the measure of angle OPN is 90 degrees, or it's a right angle. Those all are the same thing. So these are all given. So now that I look at these two triangles, I also need one more piece of information before I prove that they're congruent. So notice we have two lines crossing right here. Opposite angles when two lines cross are vertical angles. So if this angle P right here, OPN, this is 90 degrees, this one is also 90 degrees. So I could say that angle OPN is congruent to angle MPL because of the vertical angles are congruent. So now that I know both of these triangles are right triangles, we have this PN and PL are each legs. So we have two legs are congruent. LM is opposite of the right angle, as is ON, so those are hypotenuses. So I could say now that triangle OPN is congruent to triangle MPL because of the HL theorem. And that's it for the notes today. Short notes.